Welcome to the Unexpected Podcast. This is Justin Mahwikizi, and today's guest is Paul Vragel, who has spent decades in consulting and engaging with leaders of companies and affecting change. Paul, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. It's good to be here. Good to speak with you this afternoon.
There he is, sir. Paul, you've spent more than 3 decades helping organizations transform. What first attracted you to solving problems that other people, for some reason, had given up on?
Well, it really all started quite, I won't say by accident, but it wasn't a choice that I had. So there is an origin story, and let me take a few minutes and talk about the origin story, because many things flow from that. So I am by background a naval architect and marine engineer, so ship design and construction. And my career started, I was hired by Amoco Oil Company to manage ship construction projects in Spain at the ripe old age of 22.
Wow. Amazing.
So I joined them. 2 weeks later, I was on a plane to Spain, and my instruction set was figure out what you're supposed to do and do that. It's a nice portfolio at 22. So I'm working with our inspection staff there. Things are going great. The Spaniards are building a series of oil tankers for us. And one of those ships comes into its guaranteed dry dock in Lisbon. And my boss says, why don't you just go over there and observe? You don't have any responsibilities. It's all controlled by operations, but maybe it's a pretty big inspection period. Maybe we'll learn some things that we could apply on the upcoming new ships. Seems like a reasonable proposition. So I went out to Lisbon, and we're opening up and inspecting a lot of things. And one of the things that we open up and inspect is the bottom end bearings of the main engine. So the crankshaft bearings. This is a 30,000 horsepower diesel. And we open up that bearing, and all of the bearing material, which good practice is it should be in the bearing, is lying on the crankshaft in pieces. This is not good. Let's say this is terrible. So I call my boss in Chicago, and I describe the situation to him. And consistent with the length of his earlier instructions to me, he goes that one better. He thinks for a little bit, and he says, "Okay, fix it."
Come on, Paul, go and fix it.
I'm waiting for the rest of the phone call. Rest of the No, there's no instruction. Fix it. So okay, by this time I'm 23. Whole year under my belt, have no authority, no domain knowledge, no staff, no budget. I don't speak Spanish or Portuguese. We don't have a contract with the engine builder, which is another Spanish company, and they build the engines under license from a company in Denmark.
Oof.
So obstacles, we got plenty, and instructions, 2 words. Okay, fine. Let's see what we can do with this. So I go to the engine builder, and I ask the management team there, what's the plan? It's their engine. They made it. Here's the issues. What are they planning to do? They look at me and they say, we don't think we have a problem. we think the Danes have a problem
Oh, well, okay.
because they designed the engine. We just built it according to what they said. Okay, I'm 23, but I can understand. I can recognize one of these finger pointing exercises, and so they don't have a plan. Okay, so so far I got nothing, and I go back to the hotel and think about what's the next step. Say, well, the next step is go down on the floor and see how they actually make the bearing. So I have something to start with.
Sure.
And when I get there, the situation actually gets worse because they tell me that management told them I was there to tell them how to fix the bearings.
Uh-huh. Okay. 23-year-old
So,
Paul, how do you
yeah,
respond?
right. So I'm back at the hotel and I'm thinking now, okay, now I really have nothing. And there's expectations that I have something here. So the only thing I could think of was let's go back to basic principles.
Right.
Honesty is the best policy. Reality is your friend if you're prepared to deal with that. And so I went back to the guys on the floor and I said, of course, they only speak Spanish and I don't speak English at this point. I said, I don't know anything about bearings. Nothing. Zero. But as far as I know, you guys do this every day. And you've been doing this for a long time. So you know a lot about making bearings. You know more about how you make bearings than anybody in the world. So let's try something. Let's just walk through what you do. I don't want to talk about problems. Let's see what you do
What is your
and
problem?
see if we can match that to what we see on the bearings. Succeeds beyond my wildest expectation. They get all enthused about doing this because maybe nobody ever asked them before. And if they did ask them, they were probably as part of some disciplinary action or something like. I'm just trying to find out how does it work. And as a rule, people do like to tell you what they do if they perceive that you're actually listening.
That's right. That's right.
So we go through their process. We find what is the root cause of the issues. Turns out it was a porosity issue that was created in the manufacturing process, and we figure out what that is, solve the problems, permanently raise their manufacturing capability, and because of that approach, they own the process and the results.
And they're proud to own and the process and the results because you gave them agency when you allowed them to be teachers and conductors rather than passengers.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I looked at that and I said, "Well, this is very interesting, especially considering where I started and what I had." And I said, "Well, one thing that I see about this isn't limited to this particular situation
Correct.
or this particular organization or even a whole company. You could actually apply this and get these same kind of results," thought I. and and so I took from that two really simple principles, which I still use today. They're the core of the business. One is 90% of the issues that waste time and money and produce bad results in a company are embedded in their processes and interactions. Currently, there are a lot of people who will agree with that, but the really important part of that is the second half of that, which is, and they usually don't work the way people think they do, or it's documented they do, if there is any documentation.
That's right.
So reality is a whole different thing than what people think or how they're operating. Okay. So what we did is get to reality. So that's a good principle. And secondly, the people who do the work at whatever level they are the world's experts at knowing what they actually do. Maybe not experts in the task, but what they do, they know.
Yes.
So let's see. We want to, so the very short description of For a Better Business is we help management and employees together take the company from here to there in productivity and growth in that much time.
Very good. Very good. Now, looking back across your career, what moments most changed you as a human being rather than as a professional?
I would say, I mean, there was a large part of it that came out of situations like that,
Yeah.
where I would go into something and I really didn't know anything about it. I had an earlier experience on board ships and in shipyards, and and what I saw was, I mean, if you come charging in as I'm the expert here, there's doesn't often produce the kind of transformational results you might want. People are very willing to work with you. So I had an experience in the shipyard before this. Came out of college, and Shipyard put me in charge of their first ever manufacturing automation project, which was happening in their major fabrication area. So my team was a woman who could probably not completely, but almost speak assembler language. She wrote the program that we were working with.
Okay.
A an original geek before geeks were a thing. A maintenance guy from a nuclear submarine had worked on a nuke boat, so his idea of downtime was like 30 seconds in 6 months, or some wild thing like that. And a guy on a burning machine who he would deny this, but I'm pretty sure he never got beyond sixth grade. And not being pejorative at all, he was the kind of guy that people overlook all the time.
Yeah.
Limited number of teeth, kind of a drawly, not very clear language. He knew more about burning steel than any engineer in the shipyard.
Really?
And I had decided as I went into this project that all these people knew a heck of a lot more about all of this than I did. So if we could listen, that would get us where we needed to go, which we did, So that was and there were other things that kind of built on that general idea until it really kind of came to full flower in this experience in Spain in a way that I could systematize, if you will. This is not just, oh, let's try some things. This is there's a way to do this, and then spend some more time understanding why that's happening, so that I could make sure that it continued. But those are pretty formative experiences, and I still use those every day, which is decades later.
Wow, that's amazing. When you go through, even today, not just in your past clients, but current clients, as you're about to get on the plane, what is when there's change improvements being brought in, whether it's in a professional services firm, in banking, financial services, or manufacturing, industrial, there are some employees that lean into the changes and are participating, and there's always a few who do not want to. What causes that, and what have you learned from that dichotomy?
Well, so let's think about the kickoff of one of those initiatives. So I'm standing there in front of the assembled company, 100, 150, whatever people.
Yes.
And instead of thinking about what I want, I'm thinking about what's going through their mind right now. And so this is a change effort. It's probably one of a series, and the most likely results from the earlier ones is they didn't work.
Right.
Which is why I'm there.
Yes.
And they're thinking, typical consulting, right? Comes in and they say, start doing these 5 things, stop doing these 5 things, fire these 10 people, and that's change. And that's what's in their mind. I mean, the first thing they hear is actually nothing about what I say. What they hear is, uh-oh, somebody is going to get fired. So, and if they get past that, the second thought they have is, here we go again. Right?
That's right.
And the only hope that they have at that point, management has put them through such turmoil that maybe this time the pizza and the donuts will be better. Okay, but that's
Yeah, they've seen the movie before.
they soon, and so you have actually about 30 seconds to dispel that. Otherwise, you're just
How do you do that?
in the mix with everybody else. So the first thing that management says, that I arrange them to say, is this is a no fault deal. We are not looking for low performing employees. We're not looking for low hanging fruit. This is about productivity and growth for the company as a whole. And what I can tell you about that is every company that I've worked with for the past 30 years using this process has had dramatic improvements in productivity and growth. And when we do that here, which we are starting to do right now, you will have the same result. So you can feel the temperature go down in the room a little bit. And the next thing is, okay, this sounds wonderful. Now what? I'm standing there. Okay, I'm here because management brought me in because they need some outside assistance to get where we want to go. But as far as I know, you guys are the ones who know what really happens here every day. Am I right? And everybody nods their head. And you get somebody in the back who's seen stripes. That's a fact, Jack. And and words to that effect. Sometimes you get somebody in the back who's on their phone already, calling their significant other, saying, "Honey, it doesn't look like I'm going to get fired today." Okay, so but all right, we're not there yet, but
You got some buy-in.
we're making some. We have some. They're listening now.
Yes.
Okay. There's interest. Now we don't have buy-in yet, but we've got interest. And okay, so you guys are the world's experts. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to talk with you, listen to you as you work and where you work. We're not hauling you off into a conference room and putting yellow stickies on the wall. Mm. This is reality. How do you actually work? And this will sound a little strange. I don't want to hear problems. Problems don't tell us anything. What tells us something is, how does it really actually work? And when we lay that out visually, which we're going to do based on the things that I talk with you about, the things that need work are going to show up. They just do, because you're seeing how all the connections really work. And the interesting part of that is, as those things show up, you guys are not part of the solution, part of the problem. You're part of the solution. And okay, ears are perking up a little bit. So I said, okay, let's just review the bidding and make it simple. No fault. You guys are the world's experts. We lay this out so we all can see how it works. As things appear, we fix them right away. And you're part of that. So before we start, I really have only one question. Who's in to work with me on that basis? Raise your hand. Mm. How many hands go up?
All of them, I hope.
All of them. Yeah. And now we have, it's very interesting, because instead of just saying, who's just saying, and we need your participation to do this, right?
Right.
You don't have anything at that point. But raise your hand. We actually have an agreement with them to participate and contribute. I have no illusions that there is not a gradation of buy-in there.
Right.
I'm okay with that. By the way, even the people who are, let's say, still kind of feeling the way a little bit about this, they see everybody else raising their hand. So there's a certain amount of
a little positive peer pressure. Positive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And even so we've got buy-in from this whole group. And by the way, we're going to start in 10 minutes. So the rest of the day is interviews and observations with people. And the question on the table for the rest of the organization is, what did he really do? I mean, I raised my hand with everybody else.
Sure.
Okay. But what did he really do? And the word that comes back to them is, he did exactly what he said he was going to do.
Ah,
He looked at what he came to where I worked. He asked me a bunch of questions about how I worked and how things happened and etc. I told him stuff that I didn't even remember that I knew. And I told him stuff that we do that's really stupid.
mm,
And he didn't say, well, that's stupid. He listened.
listen.
Okay. Call it non judgmental listening, which is a new experience for a lot of people.
That's right.
So by the end of the day, those people who would say, oh, the consultant is going to come and talk to me, I think I'm going to be sick tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Right, right, right.
they're now saying, I got stuff to tell that guy. When is he coming to talk to me?
They can't wait to talk to you the next
They
day.
can't. They'll chase me down. Literally,
Wow.
they'll chase me down. And uh, so, okay, little intrusion of reality. In one of those instances, uh, one of these guys who you know he's got some stroke in the company. He's not a manager, but he's got the respect of everybody.
Right.
After this initial like 5 minutes, right? 5 minute intro, he looks up at me, right, stares me right in the eyes and says, we'll see about that.
Wow.
So, okay, I've been doing this a long time. I know how this is going to work. I can't tell you exactly, but I know what's going to happen. So, a couple weeks, we're working with lots of people and getting a lot of things laid out. We find and fix something that he's been trying to get fixed for 2 years.
Wow.
So now he has a very interesting problem. Part of his bully pulpit, if you will, is all he has to say is, we tried all this stuff before and it didn't work. And he's right. All the stuff they tried before didn't work. Now, this happened right up close and personal on something. I mean, he understands what just happened here. So his choice is he can continue to say this doesn't work and slowly become irrelevant and lose his bully pulpit,
Right.
or he can say I'm in and I'm O for lifetime seeing anybody who will willingly give up their bully pulpit. So he was in, and the word went out, hey, George is in. So with no confrontation, no sit down with George, sit down with management, we got to get George. None of that traditional uh, confrontation.
Right.
Uh, it just happened. And now I got all of his experience and influence and et cetera, for nothing. I mean, just because the process works. So if you so if you come in and you do that traditional, you long answer to what you asked is, why do people think that way? uh, they're used to people coming in and not listening,
Yeah.
telling them, fire these people, stop doing this, start doing this. And so there's a pretty dominant approach to change that says people don't like change. To which, having done this for 30 years, I offer a different view, which is what they really don't like is being a changee.
Mm.
But if you give them an environment in which they can participate in the change and contribute, kind of like you observe with the guys in Spain. Hey, wow, we can do something here, and that changes the environment and what uh, so that kind of leads into culture, because what we're creating is a safe environment for change, which is
It's
often what's missing. Yeah.
it's the best definition of what truly a turnaround and a transformation process looks like. If you can achieve those results you just mentioned.
Right. Right.
When companies do improve, in some turnarounds, companies do improve profitability without layoffs, which is rare, but it does happen. What lessons should other leaders take away from that experience?
What I can tell you is what I've experienced, which is in 30 plus years of doing this, I have actually kind of aggressively fired 2 people,
Wow.
literally 2 people. One was the chief engineer of an aerospace defense company.
Wow. Okay. That's a heck of a target, my friend.
That's a target, you bet. But he had bamboozled everybody. He knew a little bit more about a lot of things than everybody else, so nobody could challenge him. Well, I knew literally everything about what everybody was doing, and I didn't bamboozle. I saw what he was doing and what he wasn't doing, and I told the management this. He is serious trouble, and they said, "Okay, uh, you're in the middle of that. Talk
Fix
to
it.
him.
Fix
Yeah,
it.
let's fix it. There we go. Yeah, why had I heard those words before? Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So I went and I said, okay. And he tried to do a little song and dance. I said, okay, the song and dance stuff is over. Here's what you need to demonstrate, and here's the time frame in which you need to demonstrate it. Facts. These things, these things, these things. And if you do, great. And if you don't, then there's other things that will happen out of my control, but you can guess what they're going to look like. And he didn't. He didn't. So then management said, okay, who do we put in his place? And I said, this guy over here, that guy in that place will do a great job. And he did, and et cetera. And the other one was a floor employee who was just plain toxic.
Mm.
Just toxic. He just walked in the building and morale went down. People were getting mad at each other. I said, you have to get rid of this guy. The other thought is, why would I want to get rid of these people who know how this really works? And we are going to increase productivity and growth. And I'm going to need those people.
Right. Correct.
So firing them is exactly counterproductive. And so, people say, well, we need to get results fast. Okay. I think we talked about this briefly when we met. I said, well, here's this automotive tier one, tier two supplier, not doing all that well. That's why I was there. Uh, didn't know anything about the company. Came in, did what I said. In 30 days, we found and fixed 75 issues.
Wow.
In 6 months, they had a 30% increase in earnings at the same level of sales. So all that came from productivity and without firing anybody. We just we found better ways to do the business. And then the general manager said to me, "Do you think they were a Ford and Chrysler shop? Do you think we could pursue Toyota?" And I said, "Are you crazy? Of course you can pursue Toyota. It'd be crazy not to." And they pursued and got their first ever business with Toyota in 12 months, which is usually a 5 year painful exercise that has an uncertain end, but pursued, got 12 months, and then proceeded to double sales and triple earnings again in 18 months.
Wow. Well,
So,
what
yeah,
you're telling us is that process, documented procedures, standard operating procedures, and actually seeing that picture and making sure that you get rid of the kinks is a big part of transformation and some turnarounds that would not necessarily result in layoffs and mass firings, rather than let's find a better way to do this so that we can improve productivity.
right. And there's two kind of corollaries that apply there. One is trust before transformation. And if you don't get the trust, you don't get the transformation. And the uh, and the and interesting. The other one is action before ability.
Tell us more about that.
Just it's kind of a variation of just do it, but you can't say, well, we first need a 6 month training program for everybody. No, no, the the the, the gold is there. Go after the gold right now. Do it fast. So speed matters. So if a private equity firm says we're going to have a 90-day plan, what are we waiting for? Why don't we have execution starting tomorrow?
Yeah. On all points.
On all points, and the things that will make a difference, really make a difference, don't come out of some MBA course. Yeah, okay, I'm an MBA. Yeah, okay, I'm a Lean Six Sigma black belt. Oh, okay, but nobody cares. It comes out of it comes out of these are the resources that you have right there, and it it changes.
You have to trust the team that you have.
Right, right. One CEO, I said, we're talking about what the progress is, and actually what some of the issues were with some of the people, things that were happening, and he said, yeah, right. So in one world, I could say, let me change all the people, but these are the people who know what's happening here.
Yeah.
Let
No, it
we
does.
just
bringing in a new person, what takes about 6 months or so to even learn the basic process that's already there.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And
You don't know if they're a fit,
that's right.
but here are these people they're a fit somewhere,
Yes.
and they know things that they almost assuredly haven't told people about because previously they told their supervisor, hey, look at this, we could do that. The supervisor said, oh, I don't know.
Yes.
We have to
Exactly.
get in. We have to get engineering involved, and then marketing is going to want to put their oar in, and the sales people aren't going to like it because they got to learn to sell. We can't do that right now, but keep those good ideas coming. Yeah, right. When do you see the second good idea? They broke the code with that.
Yeah.
It's suggestion boxes all over the world are empty for that.
You know what? You're 100% correct. It could be in a church. The suggestion box is still empty. So if you were appointed CEO of America for 1 year, what would you change about how we educate people to think about work, productivity, and leadership?
So it comes from the same principles. You have to deal with reality first, and you have to figure out how to deal with reality, and that goes right into the education system and all of the basic things that people need to know to operate in the world. I mean, you know what the Chicago education system looks like, right? I mean, there are high schools in Chicago that have no graduates who operate at grade level in English and math.
It is.
This is you cannot allow that situation to persist. People really, I mean, you do need to educate people and give them the skills to do things that they can't do if they can't read, write, and do arithmetic.
I mean, it's a greater problem because if you extrapolate it all, the reason why they're graduating without being able to read a grade level is that they're being pushed along, and nobody's telling them, "Hey, you have a deficiency in this,"
right?
Or they're not taking it seriously, and so you push them out, you graduate them, you claim you have a 98, 99% graduation rate, and they're all going to college, but then they go to college and they have to compete with their peers who are at or above grade level. And instantly, freshman year, it's a big shock to them. A big percentage of them drop out. They come back home and they're so frustrated, and sometimes socially becomes a bigger problem with crime and everything else.
Right.
So I'm glad you brought that issue up. Thank you for that.
Yeah. That's I mean, it really starts at basic levels like that, because I mean, even going up to leadership. Well, if you are trying to do something and you don't have the resources to do that because they can't read and write, that's a societal issue. That's a societal issue, and that's wave the magic wand.
No, but that's a great answer, and I appreciate you bringing that up. After a lifetime spent studying organization, why do some teams and companies continuously improve while others get trapped with the same problems year after year? Is this a leadership problem or a culture problem? What do you, I guess both. What are you seeing?
Yeah, the short answer is yes. But so let's examine what happens with teams, right? I mean, teams is how we're going to do things. We're going to do teams, right? So people who are embarking on that journey say, okay, let's create a team for this and a team for that, a team for that. So now you'll recognize a pattern here. I'm thinking, okay, now what's going to happen in that team, the first team meeting?
Yeah.
So, well, before we have that first team meeting, we got to figure out who's going to be on the team. So there's some people who are, let's say, likely candidates, but then there are some other people who we should have on that team in case there are issues that affect them that come up in that team. And we think it's important that they're there, so they have a voice, if you will. Okay. So the first meeting, go around the table, everybody introduces themselves and what they're doing. And then the first thing they need to do is figure out what their charter is. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. We are going to have some discussions about charter and what it says and what it means and et cetera, et cetera. And by the second or third meeting, that'll pretty much be, we pretty much have that. And then we have to also be worrying as we're going through that about what the other groups are doing and what their charter is and what they're doing that affects what we're doing. We haven't gotten to the issues yet.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten there yet. And not very far down the line, when we start getting into the issues, those people that were added just in case perceive that they were added just in case. And they stop attending.
Yeah.
And then other people stop attending. And now you can't schedule a meeting and get all the people there. So you make a decision, but there were 3 key members of that team that weren't there. So you can't proceed with that without getting them in the loop. Time is marching on.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And
or worse, you make a decision without them in the room.
right.
And there's a blind spot that could have helped make that decision. It's not there. And when you
Bingo.
get to delivery, it's nothing
Yes.
but change requests because the guys are like, hey, this is all wrong.
Right, exactly. You've put all the effort in to roll it out, and somebody says, "Excuse me, can't do that," and they're right.
Correct.
Okay?
Yes.
So you get to do that all over again. The contrast that I would offer is in this environment that we're creating. We together have an understanding of how all of these processes work. Okay? We identify an issue. We can see exactly who should be involved in resolving that issue by name. This person, that person. Their charter is, we've maybe talked about that enough so we know what a good solution would look like. So we're already in, We haven't started anything yet, and we're already in solution. Their charter is, dare I say, fix it.
Fix it.
Okay, fix it. And when that's done, disband. No charter, no people just in case, no, the meeting resolves around coffee and donuts. Uh, it's speed. We need this resolved now. So go to it. You have the authority. If you need help, it's available. But go and do. Come back. Here's what you either do it, or here's what the group that's most closely associated with this thinks needs to be done.
No, I agree. I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
So it's in effect dynamic teams as an alternative to a static team, and then you have to pay attention to all of the team dynamics and the books that have been written on that stuff about how do you manage a team, and we're
So,
driving action here.
yeah, no, essentially, most of those problems can be fixed at the planning stage by knowing the full picture of the process and the procedures that takes place in the company, knowing who's responsible for it, and then you bring them in when their swim lane is involved to make sure that decision is correct. Is that what you're saying?
And have them provide the decisions.
Got it. Own it. Give them the authority,
Have
the agency
they
to get it done.
they are the ones who know. Let's listen to them and implement really rapidly. So that's also a part of creating this culture.
Yes.
So the culture gets created by, there's really kind of at its root, there are 4 steps to culture: action, which becomes habit, which repeated by many becomes behavior, and that gets you culture. And it's not about signs on the wall and
Kumbaya sessions. Yeah.
no, this is we don't we if we write a value statement, it comes after having seen what our values really are. Then, yeah, okay, we all live that set of values. Yeah.
Now, Paul, final question. You've spent decades helping companies remove or eliminate the sand in their gears
Yes.
of their organizations. Um, this is an interesting question. What is the biggest piece of sand you've had to remove from your own life, and what did it teach you?
Uh, so the the biggest piece is uh, taking my taking my own medicine, if you will. Okay.
Yeah.
Listen, 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 and put all of that together. Uh, the the delegation that comes from influence, not from title.
Mm.
So I'm always in effect an interim COO, and I never take that title ever. I'm just Paul, and and it makes a difference because you're not speaking down to people. You're always at their level wherever they are.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Takes a bit to continue.
I hear you. This has been effectively an MBA class in turnaround and transformation of organizations. Thank you so much for your time, Paul. If
I
people,
appreciate it.
our audience consists of business owners and the like and private equity folks. If folks want to reach out to you, they may have this type of problems in their organizations. How do they reach you and your business?
So the name of the company is For a Better Business, and that's excuse me, that's the number 4 followed by a better business, and the website is forabetterbusiness.com. I am on LinkedIn, and there is a link there through which you can actually book book time directly on my calendar for an initial discovery session, or and I welcome questions and discussion with people. That's that part of the door is always open to have those discussions. I'm happy to share the expertise that I have. It's not the whole world, but it's a world that I know pretty well, and I'm happy to share that. And then that link is a Calendly link. So calendly.com/P Vragel 4BB.
Outstanding, sir.
And the email is pvragel at For a Better Business. So any of those will get my attention.
Outstanding, sir. Thank you so much for your time today. Safe travels next week or the next 3 weeks or so.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks.
And then we'll be in touch, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. You have a great day.
You too. Cheers.
Goodbye.